Coded twice. 6 years, your life changed forever. 70 units of blood lost. How did you feel?
It was one of the darkest days of my life. September of 2012.
Hi. I don't want you to think that I'm making a mockery of the medical professionals by wearing this doctor's suit. I am just wanting to make a point about medical negligence that happened to myself and my husband and thousands of other people. Please join us at Medical Moments 917. Share your stories, share your experiences, and listen to our stories and our experiences. We welcome you with open arms. Again, Medical Moments 917 on Facebook. Oops, I tore your vena cava. You lost over 70 units of blood, your right leg, and your job. I am still performing surgeries. I've been promoted and lost nothing. My court docket is 2015J0401, Springfield, Hampton Court.
Again, because of people like me, please join Medical Moments 917.
I mean, how could you not, in some way, shape, or form, want to support that? I sit here today as someone who was reached out to by Ronnie, by Glennis, and they said, listen, it seems like you're doing something that, you know what, I just want to share. And then that came and turned into coffee, and that turned into a story, and that story turned into a life-changing moment even within my life, and also it turned into reflection for the times that I had to think of. Even right now, currently, my own mother going through medical negligence, out of work for the last 2+ years. My grandma being one that died in the hospital, part of that due to, let's just say, some complications in the hospital with kidney failure. And I just want to take a minute as an exercise physiologist, as an exercise medicine master, as somebody who's also just a civilian, someone who's also just a child of a parent who has dealt with medical negligence themselves, and just tell you that it's okay to stand up for something. And for me, quite frankly, this is something Ronnie, Glennis, their daughter Amaya, these are people, quite frankly, Medical Moments 917, which is grander than that family I just named, grander than myself, grander than anything being spoken, because this is going to be a movement. And it is a movement currently right now. It's an organization that is built and designed to raise awareness to medical negligence. And you know, if I had anything I want to tell you, you know, get the blame, get the grief, get the pain out of your heart, and realize that it's bigger than us, and that we have a purpose. We have a reason that we're here. And part of my purpose, part of my reason why I'm here is to shine light on this, to bring awareness to this from a medical standpoint, being a professional within the healthcare system myself, and also just from civilians that may not necessarily understand it. Like, listen, like, for me to be someone that learned about the superior vena cava, the inferior vena cava, and so much more of these arteries, I can hear the story, and when they tell me that he lost 70 units of blood, it lets me know of, like, I can easily see why the leg was amputated, because I understand how the venous and the arteries returns blood and brings blood away from the heart. And so when I hear that, I know, and I listen to my own mind without them actually telling me, like, man, the first thing that's going to go are the extremities. They're going to cut the fingers, they're going to cut the toes, they're going to cut the ankles, because that's the furthest thing away from what? Your internal organs, being your kidneys, being your heart, obviously is important, being the pancreas, things of like that nature. So this is some of the first thing I learned when I was like, wow, 70 units of blood was lost and this man is still alive? As you see right here, you heard in the video, he coded twice. And that's not something to take lightly, and I don't believe that you are, but I'm here to say, please go ahead, check out Medical Moments 917, support that cause, raise that awareness. You may one day be somebody in that scenario, and don't wait until that point happens. Don't wait until somebody that you know, because right now, if you believe in love, then you know me. If you believe in love, then you know Ronnie, and you may have never met us in your entire life, but you understand that love is one of the most powerful entities in the world. So if you have love in your heart, or if you want to find yourself with more love in your heart, please go ahead, check out Medical Moments 917, check out Glennis and her mission with Ronnie and their daughter, and you know, use that heart for a greater purpose to serve something bigger than yourself.
Initially more of a shock more than anything, because it was just the day of the surgery was just a normal day. I was in school hanging with my friends, and then I got called to leave early, and then I found out that the surgery went south, very south. So it was just pretty much from that point on, it was mostly like a shock, and then just continuing on after that, it was like, how are we going to get through this as a family, you know, as a support team? How are we going to make it through this process and not move on, but move through it, I would say.
I remember going in the operating room, being prepped. Afterwards, I was placed in a medically induced coma because of a horrific blood loss.
I never really witnessed a surgery go wrong so much. Usually you hear about a surgery and everything goes smoothly, but this wasn't the case. So it was definitely interesting to see how things can take a turn for the worse. But yeah.
I was told only by a family member, because I had no idea what happened during the surgery, and they told me that you know, your right leg was amputated above the knee. You lost 70 plus units of blood, and I was just so distraught, so broken, and most times it feels just like yesterday, and it's taken a long time. It's been 6 years, as you said, to get to this point now, to be able to keep my strength, keep my head up. And it was only by the grace of God, friends and family, that I'm sitting here now in front of you, that I'm able to tell my story. There are so many things that I used to do that when I was more active, such as playing sports, that I really miss. And that's not a part of my life right now. And I truly miss that. And if I was to give anyone a message about, I would say, please have support from your friends and family and loved ones at your side if you're going to a doctor's appointment. Please have them listen in to all the pros and cons of any type of surgery. Have them possibly think about getting a second opinion. Do all your research. But most of all, make sure you have your support circle lined up to support you.
In 2012, it was September 17th, and we decided, with the surgery that went wrong from every possible aspect of a surgery, to form an online support group where people can come and ask questions about their surgeries, about their medical negligence, malpractice opportunities, and just to be of support to other people that are going through the same thing that we have gone through.
In what way has this incident impacted your family?
This incident has impacted my family on so many different levels. It has impacted us financially because after the surgery, my husband was unable to work in his field that he was in. It has impacted the college that my daughter has chosen because she really wanted to go to school out of state, but because we were on a fixed income, we had to be very careful in choosing a school, and we had to choose a school in state. It has impacted me as far as working because I feel like I'm the only one that's working outside of the house, and sometimes that's kind of stressful when you have one person and kind of living on one person's income. It has impacted our household as a whole because we watch my husband go through his daily tasks now of doing things so differently than he had done them in the past just because of a series of medical errors.
Don't keep it in. As a family, maybe find other people to talk about it because you never know who else is going through the same thing that may be able to help you with any emotional support or just actually like literal support, like what you should do afterwards. But another important thing I would say, talk to God. Keep God closely in your circle. Read the Bible, talk to Him, go to church, whatever you need to do, and just really get spiritual and find your spiritual home.
Say are the positives that have come out of this malpractice?
I would say there are a couple things that I could look at in a way of being positive. It made the family closer because now we have family members that call or check in on us more often than they did before the surgery. It has made us closer, me, myself, and my daughter and my husband, because we try to do a lot of things together, every opportunity that we can. We always were close-knit, but I think now that my husband has a disability, it makes us even closer, and we have to really value life and value every single day of life because you just never know when your life is going to be impacted.
For other families that are dealing or experiencing some form of a medical malpractice, what would you suggest?
I would suggest a couple things for a family that's going through a medical malpractice. First of all, make sure that you secure a lawyer, an attorney, a firm that you can trust, that you feel very comfortable with. You will begin to see those people as part of your family because they're always around, they're always asking questions, they're always collecting data and information from you. So you need to have a real good trust and a real good relationship with them. I would say to prepare yourself, know your story, know your case just as well as your lawyer. Know all the aspects of your case, know the things that the defense attorneys are going to ask you, and know how everything impacts yourself, your life, your family, because they're going to ask you that when they put you on the stand. So be prepared. It's very grueling. It's a long process. In our case, it took 5 years before the case even went to trial. So be prepared for tenacity. Be prepared for some ups and some downs, because it's going to be some things about your case that are going to be real strong. It's going to be other things that are not. But just be prepared that it may not turn out the way you want. A lawsuit is a lawsuit, and there's always a 50% chance that you may lose, no matter what attorneys you have.
Say if anyone has to get a surgery, I would say get a second opinion, because you never know. One doctor could say you need this done and you need this procedure, and another one could say you don't need this, you need that. So I feel like definitely get a second opinion, or just talk to other people in the medical field that know what they're doing probably. Anything else that I learned? I just learned more about like what it is like being disabled or even amputated, I would say, and how their lives are so much different from ours, having one in my own home. I never really thought about it before the surgery, but now seeing my dad every day with his amputated leg, it's just interesting to see how different he has to do certain things. So it definitely is. It does teach you a lot.
This incident occurred with one of the largest hospitals in Massachusetts, other than MGH. What are the struggles to go against such a large corporation that has funding the type of funding that can get you to quit after 8 years, soon to be plus, of turmoil?
I tell you what, it's very difficult to go against any large entity when you're doing any kind of lawsuit, whether it's medical malpractice or not. But you still have to hang in there, and you have to be strong. You have to know that what was done to you was very wrong, and that it was hurtful, and that there was some negligence along the way. A lot of times people don't want to take responsibility for the negligence. In our case, our surgery was done at one of the larger hospitals in the Springfield, Massachusetts area. But because the doctor was not on their payroll per se, he only had privileges to use that hospital. He wasn't really a doctor of that hospital, and that makes a difference. So my advice to people that are patients, when you're looking for a doctor to perform a surgery on you, that's one of the key questions that you should ask. Are you affiliated with this hospital as far as a doctor on their payroll, or are you just a doctor that have privileges that can perform surgeries on the property? Because if you just have privileges and something goes wrong in that OR, the hospital will take no responsibility. It's only the doctor that you can sue, not the whole entity of that hospital. Looking forward to bringing awareness to the medical errors that go on in this country and abroad, really, because I've had people reach out to me from Africa, from Pakistan, from India, that have had problems with their doctors, with their surgeries, with their procedures, and nothing happens. So I, myself, am looking for closure for patients. I'm looking for a place where people can go when you have been wronged by a doctor, a nurse, a dentist, a PA, and you can get the truth, honesty, and you can get them to admit to their wrong, and they can be penalized in some kind of way. A lot of times these doctors or these surgeons are doing things that they know are wrong, but other nurses, other med techs, other PAs that work with them, they will stand up for the doctor that is wrong. So it makes it very, very hard to pursue a lawsuit. It makes it very, very hard to win a lawsuit because they all stick together even though they know wrongdoing. But I'm just looking for truth. I'm looking for people to be honest about what you did. You are hurting people's bodies, you are hurting people's families, you are hurting people's finances, and it's not fair. Be honest. You know what you did.
What would you like people to know?
I would like people to know that when you have a lawsuit and it does not settle and you have to go to trial, that your jurors play a very important part on if you win or lose your lawsuit. So be very mindful of that. Your jury is very, very important. I'm going to say, though, for us, we were Afro-American, and they say the jury is supposed to be a jury of your peers. We had one Afro-American on our as a juror, and we had one other person that could have been maybe Latino. So we had two minorities out of that whole jury pool that sat on trial, and that right there told me that it was going to be unfair.
If you had a choice to go back into the OR, would you choose it again? And if not, what would be the alternative means that you would have chosen to avoid this medical malpractice altogether?
If we had a choice to do things over again, what we would have done if we would have gotten more than one opinion. It is imperative. I speak on this all the time to people now that I know. You need more than one opinion. You need to make sure that you take excellent notes. You need to take another person with you when you go to your doctor's appointments, when you're going to have a procedure done, because sometimes the doctor is talking a little bit over your head, or they're talking too fast, or they're talking too slow, and you really don't understand what's going on, where that other person might, and you can bounce questions off of them. You need to make sure that your doctor draw a diagram of what is wrong and what they are anticipating to be done. You need to know all the risks and all the complications that can arise from your type of procedure that you're going to get. Those are things that we failed as patients that we did not do. So I'm giving the advice for you all that have surgeries. And for me, if I have another one, or my husband have to have anything, we're always going to get second opinions. We're going to take really good notes. We're going to make sure we understand. We're going to make sure we know the risks, all complications that can happen from the surgery.
That is very important.